watching Eagle News International. I'm Arnie Aquino reporting from the EBC studio in Vancouver, British Columbia. Here are today's top stories. Russia says Syria army halts Aleppo attacks as rebels are cornered. Urgent appeal for supplies after strong Indonesia earthquake. OPEC and non-OPEC agree on first global oil pact since 2001. Now for the story. Syria's army has halted its attacks in Aleppo to allow trapped civilians to be evacuated after advancing regime forces cornered rebels in the city. Immediately after the announcement, airstrikes ceased and artillery fire was far less intense, but later reported that the army was continuing to shell two rebel districts, Kalasei and Al-Madi. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights Monitoring Group also reported sporadic clashes with new raids and artillery fire and said at least 18 civilians had been killed during the day in rebel zones by regime raids and artillery. The UN envoy for Syria, Staffan de Mistura, said the talks to end the nearly 6-year war should resume soon. The General Assembly was to vote on a draft resolution demanding an immediate ceasefire and access for humanitarian aid, although the British ambassador described the measure as too little, too late. A senior State Department official said Lavrov and Kerry agreed to continuing having discussions about establishing a framework for a ceasefire. Moscow is a key ally of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and launched an air war in support of his forces last year, while Washington and other Western nations have supported rebel forces. Russia this week suggested a deal was in the works for rebels to be allowed to withdraw from Aleppo to other opposition-held territory. On the strength of his army's latest gains in territory of East Aleppo held by the rebels, Assad said in a newspaper interview that the victory for his troops would be a turning point in Syria's 5-year war. 3 weeks into a major offensive to retake all of Aleppo, government troops have captured about 85% of the territory rebels controlled in the city's east. Rebel areas face intense bombardment before Lavrov's announcement. Cornered in a shrinking enclave in Aleppo's southeast, the rebels have asked for a 5-day ceasefire. Western countries have backed the call. The UN renewed its call for an immediate ceasefire in Aleppo, warning that as many as 500 sick and injured children desperately needed to be evacuated. All rebel-held areas have been under heavy bombardment, it said, with opposition forces returning fire with rockets into government-controlled West Aleppo. Around 400 civilians have been killed in East Aleppo during the offensive, while rebel fire into the west has killed another 100 people. The assault has prompted a mass exodus from East Aleppo, where at least 80,000 people have fled their homes, according to the Monitor. It is unclear how many civilians remain in rebel territory, but there were an estimated 250,000 in East Aleppo prior to the latest offensive. Aftershocks rattled the survivors of a devastating Indonesian earthquake that killed more than 100 people as officials urgently appealed for medicine and doctors to treat the hundreds injured. The shallow 6.5 magnitude quake leveled hundreds of homes, mosques, and businesses across Aceh province, one of the areas worst affected by the devastating 2004 tsunami. Search and rescue crews using advanced life-detecting devices have been combining the rubble for any sign of movement as hopes fade of finding any more survivors more than a day after the earthquake. The death toll stands at 102 but is expected to rise. The figure has fluctuated as authorities identify the dead across the region. Thousands of soldiers and emergency personnel have been using excavators to clear rubble in the worst-hit areas, with volunteers equipped with little more than hose in their back hands also chipping in. President Joko Widodo asked all Indonesians to pray for their countrymen in the disaster-stricken province. Medical supplies and other essentials are lacking, officials said, with the region's ill-equipped hospitals overwhelmed. More than 700 people were injured in the quake, many seriously, according to the disaster agency. Saeed Mulyadi, the deputy chief of the worst-hit PD Jaya district, said they were in desperate need of medicine and extra hands to treat the injured. Most victims spent the night outdoors, either unable to return to their homes or terrified of the aftershocks rattling the region. Aid has begun trickling into the region with emergency shelters erected to house those left with nowhere to go. But more was needed for the 4,000 people evacuated to shelters, said the local disaster agency chief, Preeta Matnath. Many fled for higher ground when the quake struck, fearing a tsunami, though no alert was issued. OPEC and non-OPEC producers reached their first deal since 2001 to jointly curtail oil output and ease a global glut after more than 2 years of low prices that overstretched many budgets and spurred unrest in some countries. With the deal finally signed after almost a year of arguing within the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and mistrust in the willingness of non-OPEC Russia to play ball, the market's focus will now switch to compliance with the agreement. Russia, which 15 years ago failed to deliver on promises to cut in tandem with OPEC, is expected to perform real output reductions this time.
Our agreement is really stemmed from the sense of responsibility towards the balancing of the market, which will lead to positive results not only for producers and exporters, but also to consumers and to the healthy economy we all require to the world.
Producers from outside the 13-country group agreed to reduce output by 558,000 barrels per day, short of the initial target of 600,000, but still the largest contribution by non-OPEC ever.
Договоренности, сегодняшнее соглашение, подписанное, ускорит стабилизацию ситуации на рынках, снизит волатильность, даст возможность привлечь инвестиции и обеспечит стабильное развитие нефтяной отрасли.
Last week, OPEC agreed to slash outputs by 1.2 million barrels per day from January 1st, with top exporter Saudi Arabia cutting as much as 486,000 barrels per day. Saudi Arabia's energy minister Khalid Al-Falih said the Riyadh may decide to cut even deeper. The agreed non-OPEC output reduction includes Russia's cut of 300,000 barrels per day, Novak said. He added it would be gradual, and by the end of March 2017, Russia would be producing 200,000 barrels per day less than its October 2016 level of 11.247 million barrels, Russia's highest production estimate so far. Oil prices have more than halved in the past 2 years after Saudi Arabia raised output steeply in an attempt to drive higher-cost producers such as U.S. shale firms out of the market. On to our national news. Canada buys new Airbus search and rescue planes for 2.4 billion Canadian dollars. Severe snowfall in Fort McMurray. Now for the news. Canada's Air Force will buy 16 Airbus C295W aircraft modified for search and rescue to replace its aging fleet at a cost of $2.4 Canadian billion. The contract will also include servicing the planes over 15 years for an additional $2.3 billion Canadian dollars through a joint venture between Airbus Defence and Space and Canada's PAL Aerospace, the government said. Defense Minister Harjit Sajjan said the purchase means a technological upgrade in the military's capabilities. He underscored the aircraft's onboard radar and sensors capable of locating people in distress in the dark and in harsh weather, including in the Arctic. This contract brings to 185 the number of C295s sold by Airbus around the world since 1997. Canada's C295Ws will join other Airbus aircrafts used by the Canadian military for air-to-air refueling, transport, and VIP travel. The first search and rescue planes will be delivered to Canada in 3 years. In the past few days, we have experienced below normal temperatures all over Canada, and Fort McMurray is one of the many towns wherein residents are experiencing severe cold weather. It has only been 7 months since Fort McMurray residents experienced the worst wildfire in Canadian history, and now the cold weather and snow. Here is Jester Gallardo for the report.
Hello everyone, right now I'm standing here at Highway 63, about 16 kilometers north of Fort McMurray, and currently the weather temperature is minus 31 degrees Celsius, but it feels like minus 37. That is why extreme cold warnings has been issued for the Wood Buffalo region. Extreme cold warnings are issued when a very cold temperature or wind chill creates an elevated risk to health, such as frostbite and hypothermia. So if you have to be outside today, please wear appropriate clothing. Reporting from Fort McMurray for Eagle News, Western Canada, this is Jester Gallardo and I am 1 with 25.
Coming up, a look at Find Your Fit BC, an interactive event where individuals of all ages can learn about British Columbia's in-demand careers. A spotlight on the Richmond World Festival. Selena Gomez and Keanu Reeves on entertainment news this week. And the Iglesia Ni Cristo's Proud to Be INC campaign. All these and more when we come back.
Yung target mo kung saan mo papapagsakin ang bola, control ng pagpalo.
Welcome back. You are still watching Eagle News International. I'm Arnie Aquino reporting from the EBC studio in Vancouver, British Columbia. Now in other news. Students and youth who are thinking about their future careers can learn about themselves, generate career ideas, and explore a wide range of occupations. Their schools, in cooperation with the provincial government, can help and guide them to find valuable resources for career planning and job searches, as well as key labor market information. There are numerous resources that will help students and youth as they think about their career options in British Columbia. Here's Jeanette Duazo for the report.
Young people in British Columbia have an opportunity to learn the skills they need for tomorrow's in-demand occupations through the Work BC's Find Your Fit tours in different stops in different communities around the province. Find Your Fit is an interactive event where individuals of all ages can learn about British Columbia's in-demand careers and test out some of the skills they would need for those occupations. At the actual Find Your Fit tour event, students will first visit up to 16 career activity stations where they can take part in a hands-on activity related to a specific career. These activities will help students uncover their strengths and interests, giving them the knowledge they need to get started with their career planning. then move on to a labor market information station booth where they can dig deeper and find information into a career of their choice, like top occupations, high demand careers, and the largest and fastest growing sector in healthcare. Even event staff are available to answer any questions students may have. Parents, teachers, and career counselors may also benefit by discovering ways to educate and support youth in their career exploration. Find Your Fit is part of British Columbia's commitment to re-engineer education and deliver the skilled workforce needed in British Columbia's growing economy. The tour has had more than 180,000 participants so far. For Eagle News, Jeanette Duazo from Victoria, I'm 1 with 25.
Thank you, Jeanette, for that informative report. Now here's Arturo's Natividad for feature on the Richmond World Festival.
It's a beautiful day here in Richmond, British Columbia, Canada, for a day-long celebration of food, music, and culture. My name is Archie Rose Natividad for Eagle News. Welcome to the Richmond World Festival.
The Richmond World Festival features over 60 music and dance performances on 9 stages, an international food truck festival with more than 40 food trucks, celebrity chefs on the culinary stage, and the global village with interactive cultural activities and performances. This wonderful event highlights the cultural harmony that can be found in the city of Richmond.
Well, this is the second annual Richmond World Festival, and we wanted to create an event that celebrated the diversity that Canada and BC and particularly Richmond are famous for. Richmond has the highest percentage of immigrants of any city in Canada, and so we wanted to have an event that brought all of those cultures together, and we sort of picked the things that everybody loves, music and food, as kind of the main elements of the festival, as a way that people could experience all the different cultures.
The biggest part of any awesome event is the food. Featured on the culinary stage was award-winning chef Brian Skinner. Chef Brian provided some insight on the best part about vegetarian cooking.
For me, the most spectacular thing is the vegetables themselves. I mean, a lot of people, when they focus on and think about vegetarian food, they think about not eating meat, but really for myself, it was about eating vegetables, which really got me excited. So that was my first restaurant, was to really focus on something that was to celebrate the vegetables instead of try to create food that didn't have meat. It seems like a subtle difference, but it actually makes a huge difference because then you can get into, you know, why and what makes a carrot so good or what makes a mushroom so good, and build a dish around that instead of building a dish that would maybe be, you know, meat and potatoes dish without the meat and maybe something else instead, tofu. So really it was about the vegetables.
Of course, the main event is the entertainment. One of the featured performers were PhilCAS, which stands for Philippine Cultural Arts Society of BC. As many Filipinos call the city of Richmond home, the audience was treated to a myriad of traditional Filipino folk dances.
It's an amazing thing to be a part of this event. This is the second year for the festival, so it's a first year for us. And to be able to be part of it, it's great with all the people here. And actually, I was just told that we brought in the most people for the afternoon, so that just feels amazing to us. With the Philippines made over 7,000 islands and having little cultures within the Filipino culture, so to be able to learn about that and showcase it through music and dance is a whole different thing to us, and it's great to be able to teach it to the world in a way with showcasing it. If you go to www.philcas.ca, that's where you can find information on our website.
Here at the Richmond World Festival, you can find a diversity of food, music, and culture. An incredible event that truly celebrates bringing a community together.
Reporting from Richmond, British Columbia, Canada for Eagle News, my name is Archie Rose Natividad. I'm 1 with 25.
On a lighter note, on entertainment this week, Selena Gomez takes a break from her career to deal with depression and anxiety, while Keanu Reeves takes the spotlight on ABC's Canadian Artist of the Week.
And now for our showbiz report for entertainment this week. Our hot topic today is about Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez has just returned from her 90-day break from her career to deal with depression and anxiety from her battle with lupus.
The world can be a nasty place. You know it, I know it, yeah. We don't have to fall from grace. Put down the weapons you fight with and kill them with kindness.
Selena Gomez is a 24-year-old singer and actress known for children's television series Barney and Friends and Disney Channel series Wizards of Waverly Place. She has sold over 7 million albums and 22 million singles worldwide. She is also the most followed celebrity on Instagram, and despite being gone for almost 3 months, she is still crowned the Queen of Instagram for 2016. Just recently, Selena Gomez made a surprise return to the public eye at the American Music Awards. She won the favorite female artist for pop and rock and delivered an extremely emotional speech.
I think it's safe to say that most of you know a lot of my life, whether I liked it or not. And I had to stop, because I had everything. And I was absolutely broken inside. And I kept it all together enough to where I would never let you down, but I kept it too much together to where I let myself down. I don't want to see your bodies on Instagram. I want to see what's in here. I'm not trying to get validation, nor do I need it anymore. All I can say from the bottom of my heart is I am so grateful that I have the opportunity to be able to share what I love every single day with people that I love. And I have to say thank you so
With
much.
that being said, on her Instagram account, she said that she has a lot to be thankful for this year. Congrats, girl, and I wish you all the best. Moving on to our Canadian artist for this week is Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves actually spent his childhood in Toronto, Canada, and is a naturalized Canadian citizen. He mainly excelled in hockey, but because of an injury, he focused on acting instead. He was given a big break in 1994 in the movie Speed, and throughout the 90s, he starred in the Matrix trilogy, making him one of the top Canadian earning artists with an estimated net worth of $350 million and winning 4 Academy Awards. But he doesn't really care about money. He is a charitable guy who would take pay cuts to keep films within the budget. Critics praise his versatility and discipline. No doubt, just hearing Reeves, you would think about Keanu Reeves right away. In coming year of 2017, we would see more of Keanu Reeves in films like John Wick, The Chapter 2, To the Bone, and Replicas.
You're not very good at retiring. I'm working on it.
Thank you for watching Entertainment This Week for Eagle News International. My name is Kathleen Cruz and I am your showbiz reporter from Western Canada. I am one with 25.
And that was Kathleen Cruz reporting for EBC's Showbiz News and Entertainment of the Week. Now we will be showing a report from Tiffany Ellis Sassis from Calgary, Alberta, Canada on the Iglesia Ni Cristo's Proud to be INC campaign. Here is Tiffany Ellis Sassis for the report.
We are here at the Bella Concert Hall in Calgary, Alberta, as members of the Church of Christ and their guests gather together to enjoy a program where everyone will receive the opportunity to learn more about the church. This also includes singing and dancing performances. As the members strive to show how proud they are to be members of the Church of Christ, they continue to propagate their faith to individuals outside the church.
Church of Christ members join the global launch of the church's newest project. The launch of the project, I am proud to be a member of the Church of Christ. led by the church's executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. This showcases the pride of being members of the Church of Christ. This worldwide mission started off by showing a video presentation, which was shown to non-members of the important milestones of the Church. With a high focus on their humanitarian efforts and services across the world, it highlighted the Church's multicultural reach and geographical spread of the Church. The video presentation was then followed by various musical programs, such as singing Christian music led by talented individuals. Also, the church's choir group sang their hearts out to show how proud they are being members of the Church of Christ. A few months prior to the date of the event, church members in Calgary were eager to participate and express their dedication and love to the church administration. Here, we interviewed Bob Benson, a member of parliament who attended this event, and here's what he said.
What can you say about the Church of Christ?
Well, this is my first evening attending an event, and I can say that I was really impressed tonight. The fellowship among all the people here was amazing. The things I learned about the church tonight and the way they're reaching out to help people around the world was just so warm to my heart to hear that, because we need that. We need people reaching out to their fellow human beings and helping them in times of need. So it was a wonderful thing to see. And the fellowship of all the people on stage tonight, they're singing and they're dancing. You can just feel the joy and the love in their heart. And you know, it just makes you feel good. So I really enjoyed this performance.
This is Tiffany Alisasis, EBC correspondent, reporting here in Western Canada Bureau, and I am 1 with 25.
Thank you, Tiffany, for the report on Iglesia Ni Cristo's activities in the Alberta region. Finally, here's Archie Rose Natividad once again to give us health tips that will be useful in the flu season.
It's flu season, and here's some tips to help protect yourself from the winter virus. Tip number 1, get the flu vaccine shot. The vaccine takes at least 2 weeks to help build your immunity, so definitely getting your flu shot early will help protect you from the virus. Tip number 2, take your vitamins. Remember whenever your mother would bother you about taking your vitamins? Well, it is especially crucial now during the winter time. B6, B12, vitamin C, and multivitamins are significant in helping to build your health immunity. Tip number 3, practice healthy habits. You should exercise regularly, stay hydrated, eat your fruits and vegetables, and this will help you in your defense system. Tip number 4, wash your hands thoroughly, especially whenever you come into contact with someone who is sick. Tip number 5, create a circle of protection. You should remind your family and your household to practice awareness whenever they come into contact with people who are sick. And the best tip of all, just give yourself time to rest. Let your body be able to heal itself, and you should be able to be as good as new. Reporting for Eagle News International, I'm Archie Rose Natividad from Vancouver, Canada. I'm 1 with 25.
We've reached the end of our program today. Thank you for joining us for another segment of Eagle News International from the Western Canada Bureau. I'm Arnie Aquino. I am 1 with 25.